Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight on 207. I'm Samantha York.
And I'm Rob Caldwell. Coming up in this half hour, Maine writer Tess Gerritsen's books have sold millions of copies. You're going to hear about the inspiration for her latest, The Shadow Friends, a thriller set right here in Maine.
And later this half hour, we're sharing some ideas for easy-to-make mocktails. Andrew Vogt from the Portland Hunt Alpine Club joins us with those recipes that you can make at home. But first tonight, Down East Magazine is out with its annual Best of Maine issue.
Editor-in-Chief Will Grunwald joined us to talk about the Best of list and some other articles in the issue. And we started by asking him about a piece on the rich history of the Common Ground Fair, which this year is celebrating its 50th anniversary.
We wanted to, look at the culture and the evolution of the fair over the years. We realized that the magazine actually has some great archival photography from the early days of it that we wanted to be able to show people anew. So the goal was really to look at how this sort of loose idea from a ragtag of agricultural activists turned into something that draws 60,000 people a year and is a huge event.
I like the approach you took is that obviously the fair, there are a lot of different elements to the fair, but really at the heart of it, it's the people who have been putting that fair on for 50 years and attending that fair and have been showing off crafts and other things. It's really a people story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we're talking farmers, organizers, artists, performers, all sorts of people who have really made the fair what it is, and we wanted to make sure that they were represented.
An interesting piece that is also in this issue takes a look at sporting camps in Maine, which are a classic piece of Maine history, but their future looks a little bit uncertain right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So, we're talking about places that people have been going to fish and to hunt for, a century and a half. They're a big part of what made the Maine woods a destination for people from the big cities up and down the East Coast. And their numbers in recent years have been dwindling quite a bit. They face a number of different headwinds, from regulatory issues to land lease issues to just shifting travel habits and that sort of thing. Some of them have straight up closed, some have been purchased and turned into private compounds. But what we wanted to sort of look at in the context of these problems is sort of what it takes for people who are these really passionate owners to keep these places going, because there are a lot of, they're all family owned, and there are a lot of people who really believe in the value of them and are working hard to keep them afloat. So we sent a writer up to Tim Pond Camps near Eustis, which is the oldest operating sporting camp in Maine. Really beautiful place.
Gorgeous place.
And just to capture, both the charm of it and the work that goes into keeping it there.
The photos alone will make you say to yourself, I want to go.
Yes.
Well, let's move on to the centerpiece of this issue. It's the Best of Maine issue, always a lot of fun. What sort of are you looking at here? This is one where you come up with different categories and you basically ask your readers to make the choices of what is the best of Maine, right?
Yeah, exactly. We, throw our hands up and we're totally at the mercy of the readers with this, and fortunately they have impeccable taste. It's an annual tradition. We look forward to it every year. There's a write-in round when people can nominate their favorite things in travel, food and drink, shopping, home and garden, and then a multiple choice voting round after that winnows down the winners out of all of the finalists.
And the editors always make a few selections of their own. Let's talk quickly about a couple of those. One of them is the Abbey Museum on Mount Desert Island, which is one of Maine's real cultural gems.
Yeah, no, it's a really important institution. I think most people are probably familiar with it, hopefully Ben. It's Indigenous-led, Smithsonian-affiliated, great museum that focuses on the Wabanaki history and culture in Maine. And they are sort of notable at the moment, I think, because, a couple things. Their core exhibit, which is a great sort of overview of Wabanaki history, is turning 10 this year, and it's worth checking out if you haven't before. And on top of that, they're eyeing their 100th anniversary already in a couple of years, and have sort of a new strategic plan out that they're, really essentially doubling down on, not just reflecting the history of the Wabanaki people, but sort of their very active culture in Maine, present day.
In the best of issue, you touch on a lot of cultural things. You also spend a lot of time talking about food and drink, which we love. And to touch on just one of the selections that, again, the editors made, Crooked Face Creamery.
Yeah, no, food and drink in general is definitely the category readers are most passionate about.
People get fired up about it.
They do. And and Crooked Face is a cheesemaker in Skowhegan who makes a range of really great cheeses. You can find them around Portland area, all throughout Maine. But they had a big year. A couple things at the World Cheese Awards in Switzerland. They took home top prize in sort of what's like the equivalent of best in breed at the Westminster Dog Show for their whole milk ricotta, which is kind of their bread and butter. It's amazing. I've been lucky enough to eat it, and it is just like a decadent, rich, silky cheese. So they won this award, and then the Food and Wine magazine also named one of their other cheeses a smoked ricotta, one of the 25 best cheeses in America, which is a pretty nice honor too.
A real nice honor, and made right here in Maine.
Yep.
You will find those articles and more in the September issue of Down East magazine.
Coming up on 207, where does a novelist get her ideas? For Tess Gerritsen, the inspiration for her new thriller came from some people around here in Maine. She'll tell us about it next.
Tess Gerritsen is not just one of Maine's most acclaimed and successful crime novelists. She is one of America's most successful. She has a new novel out. It's called The Shadow Friends, and she is back with us on 207. Thanks for coming in. It's good to see you.
It's always good to see you, Rob.
I did not know until you and I started talking a few minutes ago before we came into the studio that you write your first drafts with a pen and paper?
I do. I've tried composing in front of a screen, but I think I become a perfectionist if I see my words on the screen, and I want to keep editing, which means I never get forward in the story.
This makes you a rare breed. I know that you talk with other writers and you hang out with them and so forth, but you're the only one you know who still does that, right?
Yeah, maybe it's my age, or maybe, I'm an old dog. You can't teach me new tricks, but I have always I've been comfortable with pen and paper all my life. I can type really fast, and that's not the problem, but it's just that editor cap goes on when I see the screen.
And it's not as if you are not prolific. I counted the number of books at the beginning of this one. Is this number 32 or 33? Somewhere in there?
Around there. I've lost count, yeah.
And you've been writing for 40 years now.
Yes.
How does that feel when you stop and think about that? What runs through your head about 4 decades of writing?
I guess I'm just persistent. I can't stop. And it's always the stories come to me and I want to tell them, and characters come to me and I want to give them their voice, and it just never stops, this flow of characters talking to me.
Well, the story in The Shadow Friends this book is the third in a series about the Martini Club. What is the Martini Club?
They are 5 retired spies who are living in a quiet town in Maine, and it is a reflection of the reality of Maine. Anybody who has been in the state long enough knows that we do have a lot of retired intelligence professionals.
Particularly in the Camden area where you live, there are a lot of retired spies. There are a lot of retired State Department people. There are a lot of people who really know the worlds of diplomacy and national security, and you've gotten to know some of these folks.
Yeah, well, what is really enriching about being in the Mid-Coast is that you do rub shoulders with people who have an experience of the world, and then every year there is the Camden Conference, which has been going on for almost 40 years, and was started by retired CIA and State Department. What
is the quick premise that you can give me of what happens in this book?
It focuses on 2 of my 5 spies. Ingrid, she was a covert operative during her career, and she's married to Lloyd, who was an analyst who spent most of his career behind a desk. And they're happily married. But then a man walks back into Ingrid's life. He was a spy. He was also her former lover. And he lures her back into the field in a dangerous operation. Well, what is poor Lloyd going to do? He wants to keep his marriage alive and safe. So he has to find the inner hero. He's an ultimate beta male. And I think what I love telling the story, why I love telling the story, was to watch what Lloyd becomes. How far will he go to save his marriage?
Is character what really is the most satisfying thing to you to create?
Yes, I mean, this story is about Russian assassinations, it's about polonium, but at its heart, it's about a marriage and about two people who do love each other but are faced with temptation. I guess the overall theme is we're never too old to be tempted.
True, very true. You were trained as a physician and you started out with great success writing medical thrillers. When you move into the world of spies and spycraft, are you a little bit out of your comfort zone?
Oh, absolutely. I really am. But luckily, spies, a lot of them have written memoirs, which is surprising to me. And I was really most interested in the psychology of who becomes a spy. Why do they go into this field? What makes them different from all the rest of us? And that was what I was trying to capture in these books.
You write at the end of this book that when you were younger, that you thought that if you kept writing novels, it would get easier, and it turns out that has not been the case.
No, I think it becomes harder because you're always trying to top yourself, be better than your last book, and you're always trying to keep your readership entertained. And they're not easy to entertain sometimes.
But you still keep having the ideas. The ideas keep bubbling up.
Yes, and the characters keep talking to me. The whole series was started because a character named Maggie Bird just said to me one day, "I'm not the woman I used to be." And that started the whole series because I wanted to know who she used to be and why did she sound so sad.
Clearly, you're still having fun with it, and so are your readers. Tess Gerritsen, thank you so much. A pleasure, as always, to have you here on 207. The name of Tess Gerritsen's new book is The Shadow Friends. If you'd like more information about the book or the author, just head to the 207 section of our News Center Maine app or website. Stick around, quick break, and we're going to be right back.
Whether you're trying to avoid alcohol or maybe you just want to try something new, non-alcs or mocktails are always an option for you. We're back at Hunt and Alpine in Portland with our favorite bartender, Andrew Vogt.
Thanks.
And he's going to show us how to make a few mocktail non-alcs today.
Non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, it's nice to have those options.
I love them. I love having a night where I don't drink and I still get to go out and have something fun.
Exactly. All right, what are we making?
I'm going to start with something really simple, a spritz. And a spritz is just something with some bubbles. There are lots of really wonderful non-alcoholic options out there. To me, it's finding the thing that you really like.
Yep.
I really like this one. It's an Amaro. It's had this like a bitterness to it. You can measure, or you can just pour. I don't know, when you feel like stopping, putting that into a glass. A bit of ice, a nice cold glass, some delicious sparkling water. I like putting...
Look at that.
I know, right? I like putting an orange in my spritz. It feels very similar to an Aperol spritz or a Campari spritz or a Cynar spritz, but you get that.
I love that color. Now, should you drink it like this? Should you mix it a little bit?
That's your drink. You do whatever you like. I like a little sip
Love
on the bottom
this.
and then maybe a turn.
Yeah.
But you do you.
I forgot to cheers, you guys, but cheers.
Cheers.
This is good.
That's really good. Very easy to drink, very easy to make.
And I like the bitter of it,
And you
though.
don't really, you kind of forget that there's alcohol, that there's no alcohol.
Yeah,
in it.
like
You can
that.
drink that just like any other alcoholic drink that we serve.
Exactly. All right, what else
The
we got?
next one I came up with this one for you guys. It's called a zinnia. Thinking about spring, thinking about
Yes.
flowers. This is very similar to Campari, but it's non-alcoholic. It's got that kind of bright orange bitterness to it. We're going to do a little bit of ginger syrup that we make here in house, but that's something you can find out and about as well. Some fresh lime juice, a little bit of fresh grapefruit. It's going to be this beautiful red color, like the flower. And your favorite part.
Get the shoulders ready, folks. Okay, listen up.
You ready?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Can't wait to see the color of this. Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Zinnia.
Cheers. Oh,
Yeah, a little bit juicy, a little bit bitter. The ginger gives a little bit of kind of tingle on the tongue.
Nice. Yeah. That says spring.
It says spring, right? The last one is a drink that a non-alcoholic option that we have on our menu right now. We take some house-made pomegranate syrup, which is to say house-made grenadine, some fresh lime juice, and then we're going to put some ginger ale over all of it, but a couple of these just to make, yeah, sorry, short.
It's fine. We have the other one. Oh, that's fun too.
Yeah, this one's nice. This is called an I'll Be Seeing You.
I love the ombre effect.
Yeah.
So pretty.
A little bit of orange oil over the top. I'll be seeing you.
I'll be seeing you. All right.
Cheers.
It's good,
Whoa.
right? Yeah. Easy. You can make it at home. You can feel comfortable ordering out at a bar. And, you know, it's not just a Coca-Cola.
I love. I'm not putting this one down. This one is so good.
Thank you.
It almost tastes like candy.
It tastes a little bit like candy.
Oh, all right. All right. So 3 mocktails that you can enjoy at home. Perfect.
Cheers.
Andrew, thanks so much.
Thank you.
If you would like to make these for yourself, just head to the 207 section of our website and app. Don't go anywhere. We're back right after this. If you ever miss any of our stories on 207, you can catch all of our recent episodes at any time on our News Center Maine streaming app.
You can download for free and stream on your TV. It is available on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Thanks for being with us this evening. Before we go, we have music from Michael Corletto.
Here's his song, Good Times and Willow Trees. Have a good night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
But I know summer always comes back around. December here gets lonely, dark and mighty cold. The sun can't hide away in the blink of an eye. I wish he'd never go. It's just a couple months now before mud season shows your teeth, saying June's around the corner. Well, good times and willow trees, and I know summer always comes back around. Well, I gotta get out this New England town, but I know summer always comes back around. I know summer always comes back around. Well, I gotta get out this New England town. I never wanna leave her loving arms again. Good times and willow trees, my friend. Good times and willow trees.